the poster that we made. So this is Gatsby's hydroplane, and this is Gatsby's pink suit, and this is Gatsby. All of these are in the novel, The Great Gatsby. This is a dock, green light, and this is the Valley of Ashes. And these are the themes of the book. It says here, society plus class, love, visions of America, wealth, gender, morality, marriage, all of that. And this one is Gatsby, when he throws extravagant parties. And this is Daisy's mansion, and this is where Nick Carraway lives. It's not that big, but since he's a middle class, for him that is okay. And this is Gatsby's car, where Daisy was driving and bumped Myrtle. So now Myrtle's dead, and not really bumped, but killed Myrtle. And this is where Gatsby lives. So this is his mansion. And so right here we have the map. So this is technically the mansion of Gatsby, Nick Carraway, and New York, and the map and everything. So this was the Great Gatsby character map. So this is Gatsby, Tom, Daisy, and Jordan, and we have Nick Carraway over here. So
This is what Addie and I translated as the meaning behind the novel The Great Gatsby. Important symbols are to the left, and what I will be talking about is going to be to the right. Disclaimer, this is just our interpretation, and just don't get mad at us. If you have your own interpretation, that's fine. The novel The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald demonstrates that when an individual has an obsession, this can lead them to do anything for that obsession, ultimately resulting in ruining their life and possibly death. Also, the novel The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald demonstrates that when an individual has a fantasy, this can lead them to pursue that fantasy, ultimately resulting in them having to face reality. What supports our interpretation of the book? How did Gatsby's obsession with Daisy ultimately lead to his death? Gatsby's obsession with Daisy started before World War I when they were dating. He lied to her and told her that he was rich. He was not. He did this so he could get Daisy and could get on her radar. He was born and raised in an impoverished community in North Dakota and always desired to be wealthy. Before Gatsby went off to war, Daisy promised that she would wait for him. Daisy has a need to be with somebody who is rich, who is able to support her here and now, and can support her lavish lifestyle. So she married Tom Buchanan. When Gatsby came back from the war 5 years later, he found out that Daisy hadn't waited for him and had married. So the result of this is he dedicated his life to winning Daisy back. And he didn't do the greatest things to do this or go this way. He wanted to be rich. So he started bootlegging liquor, which was illegal and made a lot of money at the time. And then he was also selling stolen stock and bond certificates to gain his wealth. The fact that Gatsby got involved in organized crime to become rich for Daisy to look his way shows his obsession with Daisy because he put his own security at risk. Since Gatsby's obsession started before World War I and came back 5 years later, he gained a fantasy for Daisy because she was no longer the girl from 5 years ago. This caused him to pursue a version of Daisy, who is a person of the past who loved him and was beautiful and was wealthy and sophisticated and graceful. The Daisy of the present was still some of those things, but was mostly fickle, shallow, bored, and sardonic. He pursued his obsession of a Daisy of the past, thinking that her love for him was real and still there. After he blew up in the room with Tom, Daisy, and Nick in it, Daisy was unable to say that she loved Tom, which led Gatsby to think that Daisy loved him. After Gatsby blew up and told everyone in the room, including Tom, that Daisy never loved Tom and loved Gatsby, everyone left and Gatsby let Daisy drive his car, him accompanying her. Assuming that Daisy would leave Tom to be with him, that's why he gave her his car. So Daisy was drunk, and when she was driving, Myrtle Wilson ran into the street thinking it was Tom, because Tom was driving Gatsby's car earlier, and Myrtle and Tom had an affair. So Myrtle was hit and killed instantly, and not wanting Daisy to get in trouble for hitting and killing Myrtle, Gatsby took complete blame for her hitting and killing Myrtle. This resulted in George Wilson, Myrtle's husband, to seek revenge for his wife, who he loved. When he heard that Gatsby was the one who killed her, George went and shot and killed Gatsby and then himself. Gatsby eventually had to face reality that Daisy had changed and didn't want him anymore. He realized this when she didn't call him after she drove him and her home to run away with him. That Jay Gatsby's obsession with Daisy Butchanan led him to do the organized crime and going as far as taking the blame for her actions. Since Gatsby was only focused on one thing and one thing only in his life, when reality came to him after Daisy didn't call, he was crushed by it. He had an internal death before he was actually killed because he spent his life doing everything to get his obsession and still fell short. His obsession ultimately ended in one friend, Nick, and Gatsby's father attending his funeral because he didn't spend time making any friends. Tom and Daisy moved away without an address, and this made Gatsby's life very insignificant to the people around him because he did not mean anything to those people.